Atlanta, live from K.L.P Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The Swanky One, new K.L.P.
and
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Testing 1 2. All right, I'm good.
Testing 1 2. How does mine? Okay, look at us both sitting up.
Yeah, sitting up, all proper life.
Sitting up, got my glasses.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good. You ready?
Yeah.
Get there. And we are go in 3, 2, 1. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is, man.
Hey.
Y'all ready for it? Evelyn, we ready for
I'm
it.
ready. I don't know if they're ready, but I'm ready.
Welcome back to the extraordinary production
Woo!
of What Had Happened Was.
What had happened was.
I'm your gracious, highly favored, humble, healthy, spirited podcast show host. One of them, because there's two. There's not a host and a co-host. No, we both hosting. K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas.
Yeah. And I.
Yes.
I am your illustrious, beautifully smart, and talented, the Evelyn Letitia. Get into it.
Yeah.
Yay!
We back. So.
Look, first of all, I know y'all hear them sound effects.
Yes.
We was in here working for y'all.
Yeah, we were. It took us about an hour and a half to get this.
When I tell y'all, it took us like 2 weeks to make trying to connect these things to get it to come through. And then when we got it, it was like, see, two minds were better than one.
Yes, that is so true.
And now we in there.
We in there. Before we get to like how we been and stuff, I just want to say, Evelyn, to our fan base, thank y'all so very much.
Yes.
We uploaded clips from the last episode, and we've had so many of y'all response and say, we like this format, we like the camera angles, we like the effects, and we like the topics, and it's just the show is growing. So we thank y'all for that. So this one, that air horn is for our audiences as well.
Yes.
Now, before we get to the good shenanigans and things we got to talk about on What Had Happened Was, we like to catch up on what had happened was with each other. So, of course, Evelyn, without saying too much, because I know you've been filming and you've been doing your thing. I see it on Instagram.
You know?
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. See, what had happened was last Friday was my last film day with Tiffany Roberts' project, which is A Rose Through Cancer. And it has been a phenomenal casting, phenomenal ride. Like, we had so much fun. I had a whole lot of scenes and stuff that day. It was dope. And I got to film with my big sis, Shell Purcell. We always talk about her on here. We had kind of been missing each other. Like, every time there's a project that we're on together, and then, one or both of our schedules changed. So we finally got to do a film together. And I was like, isn't this, we made history in Women's History Month. So it was a blessing to do all of that. But rap, I made some great connections, some people I'm connected to. And now next week, I'm start filming for the other film that I'm in right behind it. Being back down here in Georgia, for A Tethered Heart. So that's what I was doing. But I'm taking a much needed break coming up this weekend. Coming to Tampa for the weekend.
Shout out to Dad.
So, reach out to some group like, hey, what y'all doing in Tampa? What's going on? Like, your girl gonna be there all weekend. So that's what's been going on with me. So what's been going on with you?
This past weekend, everybody know I got my suit on and my bow tie. I just gotta say again, because I know my sister and her now husband feels good to say that.
Yeah, brother-in-law.
brother-in-law, they watched the show. But this past weekend, my sister Deamber and my brother-in-law Jake, they got married, and we went to their wedding. It was beautiful, Evelyn. When I tell you, and I've said this before, and this has been the thing all week. My sister, I've never seen my sister so happy than what she did in all my life of me living. I never seen her this happy before. Yeah. So to see her in her wedding dress and for her to have a great time at her wedding and just really enjoying a great time. A lot of her friends came. Her bridesmaids were beautiful. My oldest sister was her maid of honor. Everybody was there. I was getting lit. Me and my dad look alike. I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but I'd never seen my dad get lit and dance like now. My mom was there; she was getting lit and dancing, but that's my mama. I know she's. I'm gonna show you. But my dad doing these dances and these. I'm like, okay, pops, I see you. I've never seen you like this before. Your dad said, "I'm new." Your dad said, "You new to this. I'm true to this." I'm new. And he was like, "Even back in the day." I'm like,
"Oh, okay. Back in the day."
He pulled it like, "Yeah, back in the day, I used to get down." I'm like, okay. I see you. But like I say, her wedding was just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was at the Waldorf Astoria luxury hotel in Buckhead. And then I have like the event spaces and then the outdoor spaces too. So it was just a grand time just to see the amount of people come and so much love. My aunts and my uncles and my parents and their significant others collide together, and then you had Jake's family to come and his brother, his sister and the sister's boyfriend and their friends come. A very, very blended family now. So very, very excited. So shout out to Deems and Jake. They're, as of this recording, they're on their honeymoon in Clearwater, Florida. So all right.
Yeah. You know what? And I saw some of the pictures that you put up, and I was like, everybody look good and they're all black.
Yeah, it was good.
It was giving, really giving. I saw it, like, look at Kennedy. Here comes the men in black. And boy, he had them shades on. Don't change the profile pictures up, the backdrop pictures. I'm like, look, I'm on social media liking and love. I'm like, okay.
I immediately changed. Because my other picture, that was from Christmas time, right? So it's like, okay, I need a little
upgrade.
Little update. But yeah, it's been, that wedding weekend was great. Came back to the studio, did my podcasting, worked out. I do have some announcement that I'm happy to announce real quick. And because I haven't told you this yet, because we were trying to get set up for the show, y'all. But
you haven't told me.
I haven't told you yet. When you first stepped in the studio, we were like, all right, let's go get this good. Let's get our topics ready.
Y'all, I'm finding out with y'all, so don't judge my reaction. I don't know what the hell Kennedy about to say. Okay.
It's good news. So shout out to Georgia Gwinnett College.
Okay.
As many people know that's my alma mater. K.L.P Entertainment is officially a independent contractor vendor for GGC Athletics. So we'll be broadcasting and kind of what I did in college and what I do, but I get paid for it now. Yeah. And they are looking to innovate athletics, and I hope somebody from there is watching the show so they'll know the production side of podcasting and radio, because that's part of my plan. Is to bring a podcast to GDC Athletics. Yeah. It's part of it, but that's still early to tell. Very, very happy about that. So shout out to Athletics. Can't wait to work more with you guys.
And if you need what happened was on site at some of your events, I'm just saying.
What? You might as well. With basketball's getting ready to come. You play basketball too. So
child balling out,
I mean, if they want it, then we got something.
If you really, really want it,
if
baby,
you really want
let me tell you something. We could be there.
We'll be there. So shout out to them. Then that's primarily my week.
Well, congratulations. Yeah. That's big. I always big up you behind the scenes. Like, I'm so proud of the work that you do.
Thank you.
Just the growth that we both have individually and what we're doing with this podcast. It wasn't until I was talking to somebody recently, I was like, hey, we started this like back in August, September time. We'll be coming up on a year, and it just seemed like we just started this.
Yes.
And we really have been doing this for some months now, coming up on a year. This like wow, we in there.
Yeah, we in there.
What helps us to keep going is y'all keep supporting us, keep sharing our stuff, keep subscribing. Again, right now we're on location in the studio, but we have aspirations of being on site at different festivals and things like that, So let us know if you're trying to book us to come on out and, be on site.
We'll do it. We'll do it. So now let's get to the topics of conversation.
Yes, we got several topics.
Yes.
We just talked kind of about a celebration, and one thing that happened more recently, celebration of life and homegoing services for Miss Angie Stone.
Yes.
Now I grew up on a lot of Angie Stone's music. She was a phenomenal singer, songwriter. She even rapped. Most people don't even know that she rapped too. But she has placed her finger on the pulse of the music culture. And unfortunately, she lost her life in a tragic car accident. And, you know, I know some people can watch this. There's still some speculations on what actually happened with all of that. The story that was put out was that her van that was carrying 9 people, the driver lost control or something, and they flipped several times. And then were also hit by a semi-truck, which undoubtedly took Angie's life. And there's been speculation that some of that is true, some of it's not. We're not going to get heavy into that.
Yeah.
But definitely want to give her, you know, flowers on top of flowers that should have been given also while she was alive. And we had her homegoing services. But she has been in this thing for a long while. She's made many television appearances, many film appearances. I loved her in The Fighting Temptation. That was one of my favorite movies that I watched. And now I have Beyonce in it.
I remember that one.
Jr. She's been on television shows that I've watched. Moesha, Girlfriends, 101. I grew up on all these. Lincoln Heights. Of course, R&B Divas is where some of you may have, you know, picked her up, you know, if you didn't know her prior to that. She's been in theater. She's award-winning and nominated. Soul Train Awards, Black Reel Awards, Dance Star Awards, Grammy Awards. She's been nominated and things of that nature. She's been in this business for a minute.
I would think 63. She because that's the age that she was when she passed. That's really young.
Yeah,
it's scary to think that, you know, people who pass away at a young age, and some people might say, "Oh, 63, that's old." No, not really. 63 is
we're living young. A lot
yes.
longer nowadays. And I know she was having some health problems and issues going on too, which undoubtedly, because people ask, well, how is she the only one that passed away in this accident? Which can be a number of things. You know, just because something hit someone a certain way, you don't know how your body's going to be able to handle that trauma. So there's that, you know, so I don't want to speak too much on that because you do have 8 other people who went through this. So I want to be respectful in that manner. But yeah, she's from my home state, you know, South Carolina. She's from Columbia, South Carolina, as we like to call Cola. Some of you may be familiar with at least Columbia, if not anything, because that's where the USC Gamecocks, that's where the university is. But yeah, so that's a little bit on the celebration of Angie Stone. And of course, she had more than one memorial service. One was more private, you know, at her home church in Columbia. But at one of the services, and I think that's the one they had down here in Georgia, Tyler Perry came and he spoke. And he delivered some moving words of inspiration, aspiration, also questioning, you know, where's her money that was owed to her by the industry. Because she's even talked about that. When she used to go live, she would talk about the amount of royalties that she should be owed and things of that nature, and how, you know, people were stealing from her and things of that nature that was never given to her. So Tyler Perry went on to talk about all of this and, you know, saying that he was going to make sure that, you know, her family and everything, you know, gets the justice that they deserve in regards to that. Then Monique decided to address what was said. So the history goes back to Monique did Precious.
Yeah, with Lee Daniels. Yeah, that was.
And
yeah,
and back in the day, I think she said she was only paid like $50,000. It was never contracted for her to do any of the press tour run and stuff like that. But they wanted her to do that and not pay her for it. So that was one of the major clashes. And she was very verbal in calling out several people that blackmailed her in the industry. She called out Oprah Winfrey. She called out Lee Daniels. She called out Tyler Perry. Those are the big 3 that she's called out. Since then, she has made amends with Lee Daniels, has even been in one of his more recent films, you know. But Tyler Perry, she's had been calling him out for some time now. And there was a time where some years back, she released audio of her and her husband, Sydney, who she calls Daddy, that they were talking to Tyler Perry and she got him recorded. You know, basically she was telling him what he did was wrong. You know, about talking about her character to make people not want to work with her and stuff like that. And so she released this audio kind of as a smoking gun.
Yeah.
To saying, okay, Tyler Perry was one of the ones who helped blackball me, and to this day he's never publicly apologized. So of course, when she saw that Tyler Perry, you know, said all of this, you know, stuff, she was like, okay, hold on, bro. Let me call it some, you know, hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
Because let me just give you some of the highlights that, like, Tyler Perry said. Women like Angie Stone, who's been in the business all these years, you're going to forget about what she did, all the people that she put on and helped. Then he continued to see, you got to go through something to write a song like $20. So he's talking about some of her music.
Yeah.
He said he became frustrated, and he told them to forgive him because he's angry at the way she was treated. He said, to think that this woman was in the business for all these years, see, there's a difference between performing because you want to and performing because you have to.
Yeah.
And again, there's even artists who've said, and music labels who said, if there was a new artist to be brought on the scene, a lot of these record labels will go to Angie as the person who will thumb, yes, they get to put on.
Yeah.
Like, so even getting that kind of approval. And so I guess Monique saw this clip, and I want to go through the entire thing. I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. This is an open letter that Monique, and you can find her on IG at The Real Mo Worldwide. The open letter to Tyler Perry. She said, we would like to give our heartfelt condolences to Angie Stone's family and friends. Sister Angie, we stand on the shoulders of the elders and ancestors like you, who so please know that your fight inspired us to write this letter, and that the fight doesn't end with your passing, as it is only the beginning. Dear Tyler Perry, I recently watched your heartfelt speech at Angie Stone's funeral, where you expressed frustration over her mistreatment by the music industry. It struck me and my husband Sydney as poignant, but also made us reflect on some unsettling discrepancies in your actions towards me. Number one, you expressed anger over Angie's mistreatment, yet you labeled me, in quotes, difficult to work with, despite never having worked with me. How can you condemn poor treatment of others when you've imposed the same on me? We have audio of you admitting you were wrong. 2, you asked, in quotes, where's the money she's owed? Well, where's my public apology that you promised in 2016? The false narrative you perpetuated helped blackball me, costing me tens of millions. Where's the restitution for that? 3, you mentioned being, quote, tired of us not receiving the benefits we deserve, yet you asked me to promote Precious for free without a contract or compensation, which highlights your double standard. 4, you said we should be careful in how we treat, quote, children of God. As a man of faith, where is your responsibility to act with love and truth? You promised me an apology years ago, but is yet to come. Unlike the music industry, which you rightly criticize, we have audio documentation of your actions. Shouldn't you be held accountable too? In closing, I hope your words at Angie's funeral inspire you to correct the wrongs you've done to me, to my family and me. You have the power to do so. As you've shared biblical teachings, please remember, quote, what will it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Mark 8:36. We await your response. With love and respect, Monique and Sydney.
Hell have no fury like a woman scorned. And I say that to say I'm glad that Monique approached this into a form of a letter, so that way she's not like very angry, but you can tell she's a bit angry, right? You can sense a bit of angerness into it, but she now, as this beef gets a little old, she has too many things to lose to where she don't want to come off as the angry person in this debacle. But some of the things she said is valid in my opinion, right? And it's no shame on Tyler Perry, because I hope to work with Tyler Perry as well one day, right? But Monique is not wrong in what she deserves. In, let's say, the movie Precious. Obviously, everybody we've seen the movie Precious, fantastic film, right? I remember when the beef first started going out, and Monique, she said the same thing, where she needed to do all this promo stuff and not get paid. You look at actors today, a lot of these actors is on this press run and on radio and doing all this stuff. It's part of their paid contract that, like, in that package, well, we'll give you $10 million to do this movie, but a part of that package, we need you to go out and promote. Actors and actresses today, that's a part of their package. Yeah. So when Monique says that, hey, you wanted me to do this press run and I could pay for it, I kind of agree with her.
Yeah. I mean, if it ain't in my contract, baby, and especially if you're wanting me to do it for free in that you're not paying for my flights, but you want me to go to international places, and the flights ain't cheap.
It's expensive.
So. You're not. So, and then when I get there, if I do pay for my flight, you ain't feeding me, so that's food. Mm-hmm. And then you want me to look a certain way on different carpets and in front of different cameras. So that's all my different costuming, hair, makeup. So I totally get it. Now, I want to say something. What you say? You said you could tell she's angry. I looked at it more as she still hurts. Mm-hmm. But even with saying that, I hate to place emotions on words that are read. Right. Because it's hard. Like, there's a certain tone you can kind of pick up from things that are written. Mm-hmm. But even the tone that you may think is inferred can be totally wrong. Right. So I don't want to, like, just outright say she's angry or hurt. But if anything, I don't think she's angry because Monique is still working. That's the thing. People think like she's just sitting at home sulking. Monique, I've seen several projects that Monique has been in, and she finally did get a Netflix special that is up there.
She's funny.
So it's like I didn't read it as more angry. I read it as more she's still hurt. Mm-hmm. The thing when I read it, I said to myself, because I've had to say this to myself a lot in life, be okay sometimes with not getting the apology that you're owed. Yeah. There's many of apologies that I am owed. Mm-hmm. Daily. Some of the same people that owe me apologies now, they keep adding on to shit they need to. Oh, sure, let me go ahead and get my sins ready. It's all right. They keep adding on to that they need to apologize for, right? But I had to come to this understanding and agreement of myself that the maturity I have in myself to when I wrong somebody, that level of maturity that I have to go to my brother and sister and say, look, I was wrong, I apologize. Everybody don't have that. Yeah. So I had to get comfortable with the idea that sometimes an apology that you deserve just ain't coming. Yeah. Right? That's me. That might not be Monique, but that's me. And I just want to say that to some people because some people might be struggling with that. Yeah. Like your old apologies and you think you keep begging them for an apology, you keep putting them on blast and they ain't apologize. Sometimes you just got to save your energy. Save your energy and your peace. Understand that sometimes you're not going to get an apology that you may feel that you deserve. That's one. And I think she was absolutely right in some of the things she said. Like you can on one hand, and Tyler Perry, for all that is worth, has done amazing things in our community. Of course. And for film and television in general, right? There's so many of my friends who have worked for Tyler Perry who are doing amazing. I know some people right now who's on Beauty and Black that I know, that I personally have worked with.
He's the cinematographer for season 2, so that's dope.
So like shout out to my homegirl Amber who plays Rain. Amber. I met her and did some stuff for her in the past and went to some of her workshops. I'm so proud of her. But there's been other people in his shows that I've seen and have worked with before. So he has done amazing things, but just because somebody has done amazing things don't mean they're above being called out when there may be some hypocrisy showing. Yeah. But I get where she's coming from. Like you can't tell us like, oh, somebody deserves justice, blah blah, and she's owed flowers and this and that. If that ain't what you actually are, your actions are, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's an argument to be made that people can say, well, maybe Tyler Perry isn't apologizing because who wants to apologize if you keep putting them on blast? Like, that's a good point.
Because Tyler Perry can be, in a good way, Tyler Perry can, I don't want to use the word petty, but like, if he's getting caught on blast like that, he doesn't owe that to anybody.
Well, and I also think Tyler has been in this business long enough that it's not going to affect him. This man is so wealthy. Yeah, it's not going to affect him if all of a sudden... a few people decided they don't want to support him no more. Right. Or him not working with Monique. He has his solid fan base. Yeah. That's why his stuff works so well. Like, Tyler has that fan base that is just like what other people have that fan base. No matter what they do, they're never going to lose. That's like saying Beyonce is one day going to wake up, say something, and all the Beehive going to quit following her. Nah. Like, it's not going to happen. Nah. Not going to happen with Rihanna. There's just certain people that are going to always have a fan base. So it's not like... he's going to be hurting if he doesn't apologize.
Tyler Perry know how make people go like,
Yeah.
You seen that new Tyler Perry?
But I really do hope though that they get to a point where him and Monique could sit down, where there's no recordings, but it's pure. We're here. We're open. Let's talk about it. Let's move forward. Because I can honestly see Monique is a fantastic actress.
Yes. The Deliverance you mentioned, that's the movie.
That's the one I just saw.
She did so good in that movie.
Monique is such a great actress, and I know that any project that Tyler Perry he put out that he wrote a role for Monique, she's going to kill it.
She's going to kill it.
She is going to kill it. So I hope that there comes a point where they can, get together. And of course, the feedback on the internet and social media has been all over the place. People have been saying this is poor timing. And I do get that. I'm like,
I get it.
You could have wrote this letter at any point to Tyler Perry because what he said in his, speech or whatever address during her memorial service, is like it's out there. It's on video. It's not going anywhere. So this letter could have been written a month from now, and you still could have addressed the things he was saying because it's out there in the public forum. Like give the family time to process them burying and grieving Angie Stone. Like so I get that.
Right.
That people are like, this is too soon, blah blah. But not too soon that she did this. So I get that. Like she did this right now. Why did it have to be right now?
Right.
But for the people who are saying she should never have done this, you don't have a monopoly on how people get to grieve the injustices that they felt were done to them. You don't get that, right to say, well, you can't do this ever. You need to just let it go. That's not your right, because we all have been hurt in some way. It may not be on this level with a Monique and Tyler Perry situation. Yeah. But there's been stuff in your life that I'm sure somebody will tell you you need to get over it now, because I gotta say something. So to tell her that she can't, air out her grievances in the way that she wants to at all, I don't think that's fair. Because we all got something that we all got something.
And because I'm like what you said too, I myself included, just this past year, really, everybody know about the past year. I'm owed quite a few apologies. I know I'm never going to get it. But like,
if apologies were money and I actually got them, baby, I'll be a billionaire.
Yeah, I'll be
and somebody gonna look at that and be like, girl, okay, now you're reaching. Okay, maybe a millionaire.
Maybe a
but
billionaire,
still, I'll be rich.
But I really do hope they, like you say, they make amends with this because here's the way I see it. And I don't want to bring politics into this because I'm not pro-black, but I do. Well, to a certain distinct, but like what I'm about to say kind of makes sense.
Hold on.
I think we gotta make sure that we continue to support each other as a black community. And this is, in my mind, this is where I see it. That you've got this beef between Tyler Perry and Monique, two primetime actors, directors in Hollywood, and they're now beefing over something that was years ago. This press just came out in 2009. Yeah. So at some point, you got to say, okay, what are we really fighting for?
Well, and to her, she's saying that she's lost tens of millions, which I agree, because look at all the Oscar winners. Yeah. Once they win that Oscar, that's like your leg in there. Like, these people make millions after they get that award. Right. She was blackballed, so she lost out on millions. So her grievance on that, even though it was in 2009, it ain't the same as some of us making less than $100,000 a year. Yeah. It ain't the same. Right. Baby, if I lost out on millions, if I lose out on $50, I'm mad. I'm like, hold on, because something ain't adding up. So I get that portion of it.
We just got to continue to continue to support each other.
Absolutely.
Because it is, like we like to believe it or not, we are in competition, and like we can't be in competition with ourselves.
And healthy competition, notice the key word healthy. Healthy competition is needed. It helps drive you. It helps make you better. I don't want to see nobody lose. I want to see people win.
I want to see us win.
Yeah, but if you're doing shady stuff, then you get called out on it. You get called out on it. Yeah. And I back to what you were saying. You said being pro-black, and I want to address this. You can be pro-black and support us, right? And support black things. But being pro-black does not mean that black person is they don't get to be called out. They don't get to be given constructive criticism or
Yeah.
correct it.
Yeah.
That's not being pro-black. Pro-black don't mean you just go along to get along with everything because it's black.
Because
like,
it's black. Yeah.
But when you call out stuff, let it have some. Let it be merit based on why you call them out. Like if you just in your feelings and want to be petty, that's different.
That's different. You just being petty, and that's okay to be petty sometimes. I mean,
but,
we all petty sometimes.
You know, Monique has a reason that she feels the way she feels. Again, me personally, I think the letter could have happened at any time. I'll just let the family breathe a little bit because what's happened now is because you did it so fast. People are reading it with a high level of emotion. Yeah. So it's like, oh, here come Monique again. Girl, rest. Do you think? Lay down, take a nap.
Do you think she's trying to take the attention, God rest her soul, away from Angie Stone now? It's about Tyler and Monique now?
I don't think that. That's why I think she put the beginning of the letter that she said, before she even said, Dear Tyler Perry, she said, we would like to give our heartfelt condolences to Angie Stone's family. I like that she addressed them head on. Right. You know, first. So I don't think that she was trying to be malicious to the family, everything. But again, because of the timing of it, it takes not away from her message, but it makes people read it with a higher level of emotion, a negative emotion, than to be able to say, okay, if this was a few weeks from now, and it's kind of like the dust has settled a little bit, and we allow the family time, people may have received it a little better. I don't think everybody would have agreed with it still, but it may have come across a little better. Because right now, people are like, oh, Lord, here come Monique again. Girl. Like, that's how it came because it was so fast. That's how but, you know, speaking of grievances, Jess Hilarious.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Woo! So, Jess Hilarious, if many of you know, is on The Breakfast Club. She ended up taking over the hosting spot once they finally figured out who they wanted in that spot when Angela Yee left. Jess Hilarious is on there now. And I've been knowing about Jess for years, like those YouTube days and clips on Facebook and stuff. She's always been funny and doing little clips. She still does her little skits and stuff, which I think are hilarious. And she does her Jess with the Mess that I saw long before she got on the Breakfast Club and was doing that segment. Well, she took to her live the other night and she had some things to say. More importantly about Lauren LaRosa, who came in when she was on maternity leave, with Jess herself picked her to fill in for her. Yeah. But then when Jess came back, naturally she thought, this would be a transition. Now Lauren is leaving now because I'm coming back. She was just holding my spot while I was out on maternity leave. Yeah. And then Lauren ends up being one of the fourth hosts there, and there's some things going on. Well, one of the things that's been happening is all across social media, in the comments, people are pitting, Jess versus Lauren, and who's better, who's doing this better, and Jess looks like she's jealous of Lauren, and she always look mad, and Lauren, she just needs to go, we don't want her, and other people are saying, no, Jess need to go, because Lauren know her stuff better, and so it's been all this back and forth, and then to add insult to injury, then Corey Holcomb, who Jess has had an ongoing back and forth with for years now, he decides to jump in it, which I take what he say with a very small grain of salt, because I knew about Corey Holcomb back in my college days. I would see clips and stuff when that came across the internet of him doing stand up, and I thought he was hilarious. Yeah. Right. But the last, I would say, probably 10 years, it's like every time I see this man, there's like this negative ball of energy or cloud hanging around. He just comes across as very bitter and angry all the time. And more importantly, not just angry, but at women, though. It's like he has this vitriol and hate for women. Yeah. Now, of course, he's addressed that too. It's like, it's not women that I hate, it's B words, stuff like that. And if that's not you, then I ain't talking about you. But he just comes across like the funny, for me, it didn't even take a back seat to his talent. It just got thrown out the window a long time ago for me. Now everything I see him in, it seems like real hateful. Like real hateful. So to hear him talk about Jess, I took it with a grain of salt. I'm like, he was already beefing with her. This is just one more he can pile on, But just a little bit from Jess, because she was talking about how people say she doesn't like Lauren. But this is some things she had to say.
Listen, I'm not intimidated by no woman walking on this earth. I give a crown to that girl. If you listen to the show, you know. Nigga talking about she tried to be my friend. Excuse me? Ain't nobody trying to be no motherfucking friends. What are we talking about? We just naturally, organically became cool. Once I realized what the fuck was going on, like I said, my anger was misplaced. No, I did not like her when I first came back. I didn't. Even down to how I was supposed to return. Like, we had a whole plan on how I was supposed to come back. When I walk in the room, she never left. First thing she say is not, how your baby doing? No, that was Envy, because he's the family man, right? How was maternity leave? No. That's not the first. The first thing that she talks about is the shit that was in the comments. What the fuck would make me want to talk about the fucking comments first? I got a beautiful baby at home. Why? You know what I'm saying? So no, I did not like her when I first came back. I had to learn that Lauren was not a spiteful person. Like, I'm like, I don't like the way you moving. I don't like, I ain't feeling this shit. We had a whole nother plan. I don't know what the fuck what that was in there.
Now she goes on to continue to talk about, admitting that she really didn't like her, but she came to like her. Jess ends up saying that her major issue was not that she didn't want her to be there. It's like, we need to create a lane for her, because one thing I got confused about as well is Jess with the Mess was Jess's segment. Yeah. But at one point they had Lauren sitting on there, right, and they had her doing Jess with the Mess. Like, Jess would announce it, she's like, and now here's Jess with the Mess. But then Lauren would read her things. Yeah. I'm like, what? Hold on now. Why is she reading Jess stuff? That don't make no sense. So that's one of the issues that Jess was talking about. She's like, it's not, she said, I admit, I didn't like her when I first, got there and came back. She said, but I picked her specifically to be in that spot while I was on maternity leave. But I more so wanted her to have her own thing. Like, we don't do the same thing. Jess does her jokes and stuff. Like, she'll pull a headline and she'll do jokes around that headline to like talk about it and bring it up as a subject or topic. Lauren will take that headline and she'll go back and find the facts on it, the timeline on it. She's more analytical and journalistic in that manner. So they're not doing the same thing, but that's what Jess was talking about. And then again, the comments were always eating her up and stuff like that, and she just felt like she didn't have her co-host didn't have her back. And so on the Breakfast Club the other day, they ended up talking about this on air, and Jess, this is some stuff that Envy had to say to her at the end.
Shout out Envy. I remember meeting him in New York.
I thought it was corny because we have conversations up here. We just have a meeting. If you had an issue, a problem, a situation, or something that you felt, why you ain't bring it to the team? When you came back, Jess, I pulled you to the side. I said, Jess, if you feel uncomfortable, if you don't want Lauren in the room, this is your show. We can make that change whenever you want. Did I not say that to you?
Yeah, you did. It's not about wanting her in the room, yo. It's about the segment. Like, it was like, y'all,
have that conversation
y'all wanted her.
Air. If you had a problem, say it to us. We had a meeting
conversations
yesterday.
Off air. What are we talking about?
Not like nobody having my back, because we have your back. As far as the Corey Holcomb thing, y'all been beefing for 11 years.
I'm not worried about, it's not even about you.
You're worried about comments. And you're worried about what people say after.
I'm worried about the perception and my reputation to be on the show.
They've been itching on me for 15 years. They've been itching on Charlotte for 15 years.
But that's on you. And the things that people itch on me for is on me.
I don't let it affect me because I know who I am as a person. I don't give a F what them people say in the comments.
Oh, come on.
I know who I am. I know what I do. If you let them people get in the comments and F with you, you're great at what you do.
Everybody simmer down.
Like, you a dope.
She's very
Charlemagne, peacekeeper.
Piss you off? No.
I love it.
He's a superstar.
But technically, yes, he is. But he's like, hold on. Because we're on there.
We needed to the Breakfast Club. And you let a bitch-ass person in the comments say something to stand you up. I tell you, F them niggas.
We don't even know who these people are.
They could be bots.
So Envy was trying to impart some wisdom on her to say, F them people, blah. They've been cracking on me for years. This is what I hate that people will do sometimes. And sometimes people don't realize they're doing it. Just because you handle something, a situation, a certain way, doesn't mean because you handle it that way and somebody else didn't, that it invalidates their feelings.
Right.
So I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to, really say, hey, don't worry about them. Like, we got you. And like she said, because he said, oh, they've been ragging on me for 15 years. And she said, that was you. In other words, she's saying they ragged on you for 15 years because you allowed them to rag on you for 15 years. Yep. We ain't talking about you. We're talking about me. And I understand that Envy was trying to impart wisdom on her. Hopefully, Jess heard through all that. But I also don't think he was really looking at the hurt that she was going through. And I felt like looking at her, and this is one of the reasons why I say, with the apology thing, you got to get to a point where you learn that sometimes the apology you think you deserve, that you got to let it go. Yep. Because what I saw in Jess is something I used to do, is she was trying to like get her point across and her feelings were getting validated, so it's make you more and more angry. Yeah. Because you talking about what you would do, and I'm telling you what's hurting me right now. Right. And you talking about what you would do, and
it's like you're not listening.
You're not listening, and you're fighting to be heard. Yeah. And I see that, and like he said, well, you could have came and talked about it. She said, I did. I talked to you several many times. I can't tell you how many times I've had an argument with somebody where I'm like, what are you talking about? I did come to you. I had to learn like, yeah. I ain't gonna let these people gaslight me like this. When I know the conversations we had, I know what we talked about. Like, and then you either get in front of other people and you act like it never happened, or you act like I just totally blew up at you off the wall for no reason. Right. Like we ain't had no private conversations. So I saw Jess's frustration there.
I did too.
And I do agree with Envy in the sense of even if you felt like you weren't being heard, if you came to me individually, go to the next person above me. Let's have a meeting. Because Aaron and I on the internet like this, like going on the internet, and now it's on a radio station.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube too. So it's
gonna
public,
live there. So it's gonna give y'all the public clout. Right. That it's going to bring, because people love drama, right? We're talking about it because we're in the space of doing podcasting too, so that's why we're talking about it. But it's going to give that, but it also, like future people who may want to work with you, you don't want them to be like, okay, so if she has a grievance, is this how she's going to come every time?
Yeah, is she going to be disgruntled?
Yeah, is she going to air us out like this?
Yeah, because you don't want that on certain type of radio station platforms. Like, I don't think we want that kind of, pun intended, that just with the mess, pun intended. But
yeah, and as much as you would want where you work, and I hear people say, "Oh, my work family, my work family," and I remember being young thinking that too. And then you get on these jobs, and these people will show you they behind the kiss. They will stab you in the back. Hell, someone will stab you in the front. They'll be looking at you talking like, "Girl, you got some coffee?" Yeah. Just stab you dead in your chest while they talking to you. So I've had to learn, like, hey, these are my coworkers. Right. I can be as friendly as can be. I can be very cordial, laugh and kiki with you, and all of it is sincere. It's very sincere. But at the end of the day, these are my coworkers. Keep that. I can't stress that enough to people. Keep that in mind. People go on these jobs and they expect people to have their back. They expect you expecting people to hold your secret and stuff. I remember when I first got to one of the hospitals where I was working in Greenville, South Carolina. There were nurses and people there who had been there for years before me, who had worked together on this floor. If this person you've been working with for all these years, you coming to me and talking about them, I'm the new kid on the block. I just got here. I ain't been here 6 months yet. Hell, my benefits ain't even kicked in yet, right? I ain't been here 3 months yet, right? But you telling me their business and stuff, that's a red flag for me. You would do the exact same thing to me. Yep. Now, I get it. A lot of people come to me and I give off this, and this is sincere too. I have the energy that people do come to me and tell me a lot. I hold so many secrets, which is why I'm like, I don't know why people be trying to mess with me sometimes. Like, I don't hold all the secrets. Yeah. Now, I would never air you out like that unless you did some effed up stuff that's going to affect how my livelihood is. Then, baby, let me air out these little receipts right here and show where you lying. Yeah. Right? But I'm not that type of person. But people will come and tell me this stuff. And so I'm like, So early on in my career, wherever I go, I'm very careful about that whole family thing on the workspace.
Yeah, be careful who you tell a lot of your... Because I've learned that too. I told one person too much about something, and she went ahead and told my very old supervisor, and then it was a whole debacle. It was about me when I was in school getting my master's, and they went and I told that one person, and that one other person told that person, like, I didn't mean for all that, you to tell everybody. Yeah. When it comes down to it.
And I'm not saying that Charlamagne and Envy doesn't have her back, but the one thing, if I had to give any unsolicited advice to Jess,
I wouldn't have done the Instagram live.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
Nah.
But I also would say this.
Unless I'm talking about something.
Don't. Product. And this is a hard life lesson I had to learn for myself. A lot of things that I tell y'all, I'm not telling y'all because it's something I heard or it's just something I just want you to know about because it sounds good. I'm telling you stuff that I live by and that I have to grow through and had to experience myself. My unsolicited advice for Jess will be, don't expect you from other people.
Yep.
The fact that she said they didn't have her back gives me that Jess would have their back if people were coming at them like that. But you can't expect you from other people. There's been so many times where I've had people back and stuff like that. Not that I wanted some kind of kickback or anything like acknowledgement, but that's the person I am. But then when it was time for them to have my back, they didn't. And I felt so let down that I had to learn, keep being the good person you are, keep being the kind-hearted, keep being the person that you know you're supposed to be, and you're sincere, your authenticity. That stuff will come back around to you. But don't expect the next person to behave like you behave. Yeah. To think like you think. To act. Don't look for you in other people. Right? That would be my unsolicited advice for Jess.
Yeah.
I
think, and just having the feelings that she have, and I look at it from a business perspective too, guys, because, you know, Lauren LaRosa, she's very good at what she does.
Oh, she is, yeah.
And Jess is very good at what she does too. So I get Jess's feelings about Lauren reading her segments and Lauren's being there the most, because from an executive standpoint, they look at the numbers. Yeah. So let's just say, and I don't know because we don't know behind, but let's say if Lauren's numbers on the radio is higher than Jess, then as from an executive business standpoint, then they might like, let's just hire Lauren full time. Let's get rid of Jess. Yeah. That's why I feel like Jess's feelings is valid and how she felt hurt, because first, it is a competition a little bit. So you can only have too many people on the mic. So you can't, unless you're a big podcast, you can only have so many people on air. So to understand, you know, is the competition there? Lauren has more screen time. She's reading Jess's segments and she's very analytical. And Jess have limited segments on the radio station. Yeah. Executives are like, why are we paying Jess? Why is Jess here? And that's why I think Jess is a little bit upset about it too.
Well, and also, you know, you gotta one of the best way to almost ensure that an employer doesn't want to keep you around is to tell them how happy you are being there. Yeah. Which is one of the things that Jess said in her live. She was like, I used to have fun up there. I don't have fun up there. I have more fun out here doing what I'm doing.
Employers, executives are like, oh, really?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, see, that's...
we can give you permanent vacation.
Playing with fire right there.
Because now the question becomes, everybody's kind of waiting for this other shoe to drop. Is Jess going to get fired? Yeah. You know, and if she does, all the radio station got to say, well, she said in her live, she don't enjoy being here. True. She have more fun out there doing what she doing. She making more money doing her shows out there. Yeah. So we really don't need her, you know? And it brought up another issue with pregnancy and women, and sometimes the fallback that happens because of that. Because people were like, you know, in the comments, they were saying stuff like, well, Jess, ain't nobody told you to get hired and get pregnant directly after. And as women, it's bad enough that some of the women were saying, because you can look, when men say stuff like that, I'm like, y'all don't even understand.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
You can get somebody pregnant, but for you don't have to really lose out on work. Yeah. When it comes to hiring processes, that's why you can get hired and most times over a woman, because the employee's not thinking about, well, what if she get pregnant? Is she married? That's why it's illegal to ask those questions now. Yeah, it is. You can't ask a woman if she married, how many kids she got, because a lot of times employers used to look at that as a way to measure, well, if she get pregnant, we might have to give her maternity leave. Or she got kids that are young, she may be out because they got sick days. Yeah.
And the company's got to pay for that. Yeah. So the companies ain't going to want to pay.
So that highlighted something too in the comments, because people were like, well, that's why, you know, you shouldn't have got pregnant right when you got your job and you had to go. You basically gave, you know, the fox the key to the hen house because you went on maternity leave and you was gone. And then when you did come back, you was having all this morning sickness and stuff like that. So you was always gone. It just opened up the avenue for Lauren, you know? And I just, that really shined a bright light on the things that women have to go through just for motherhood to happen while you're working, you know? Yeah. So that happened. I was like, now we're just kind of waiting to see, is she going to still be in? Because I enjoy both of them on The Breakfast Club.
I do too. I mean, I got to say, if you're asking from my standpoint, I love Jess. I really do. I like Lauren's style because she's very analytical and she brings the journalism into podcasting. And I'm always going to be like that in podcasting. I like Jess because she makes the jokes and stuff, and that's fantastic. But if I'm going left or right, I'm going right with Lauren. But it's not to say if Jess gets fired from the Breakfast Club, it's not to say that Jess can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
There's
Jess
plenty
will
of
be fine.
radio stations. There's plenty of podcasts. She can create her own show if she wants
And
to.
her skits alone on social media generate
So-
thousands. So I'm like, she's hilarious. Just hilarious.
And she's good, you know. It sucks, and it's just kind of, and maybe we can intertwine, like, hey, the two people in our culture not supporting each other, you know, as a pun there, but like, from Jess's standpoint, I get it. I really do understand, and it did make sense. If you're gonna do Jess with a Mess with Lauren, just bring back Rumor Report. Right? There's Lauren's own segment, and then you do Jess with a Mess, her own segment, and then you've got front page news and all of that. Make more segments for the show.
And I think they have done that now. I can't off the top of my head, but Lauren has her own segment now. It's no longer called Jess with the Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully everything works its way out over there.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because I love the Breakfast Club. I really do. I hate to see a good show like that like break up over just something simple like that, you know. It's and I say simple, but it's kind of complicated too, because it is a competition between those two ladies. Honestly, let's call a spade a spade. There is sort of competition when it comes down who's going to sit in that chair. But you know, prayers up to the Breakfast Club. Prayers up to the Breakfast Club for sure.
I got one more topic.
One more topic for today's episode.
One more.
Yeah, let's do
Boy,
it.
Kanye don't shook the table.
Oh Jesus!
He don't
Kanye
shook
done
the
did now?
table.
Oh man.
Kanye has gone on Twitter. Like, first of all, this didn't just start overnight. This has been for the past few weeks. He's been he's been on one, right? They say he has a new album about to drop, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Because one of the highlights of that is his daughter North is featured on a track. And he released a short clip of it with Diddy and King Combs, who is Christian Combs, Diddy's son, to which Kim Kardashian had an issue with, which, hell, I would too. You got my daughter on a song with the diddler, who is currently in jail for all kinds of issues, one including possibility, allegedly, things that happen with children and trafficking and things like that. And you got my daughter's voice and likeness on audio with this man. Like, I would be upset as a mother. Hell, I'm an auntie and I'm upset. And so, like, she had some problems with that, and Kanye released some text messages between them two, and so supposedly Kim Kardashian has North's name and likeness that is trademarked and all that kind of stuff. So he will run into some legal issues about trying to use all of that, you know. There's issue there, but over the past few weeks, Kanye has been on Twitter. I'm gonna just go through some of the stuff that he has said. This is off of the Metaverse page on IG. I'm a Nazi. I love Hitler. Now what, bees? Puff, we love you. I turned down 3 photos this week with Make-A-Wish kids in wheelchairs. Let's keep going. My sales doubled since last night. Damn, the world must be racist like me. Someone said, who broke Kanye? And he said, my name is Ye, you reeked. You know, I would imagine everybody on the planet wish they could do what I've done in the past 12 hours. He said 2.77 billion and counting. I love when Jewish people come to me and say they can't work with me anymore. It's my fave. Elon stole my Nazi swag at the inauguration. Yo, my guy, get your own third rail. No musician has done what I've done since Wagner, Hail Hitler. No musician is doing what I'm doing or will be able to do what I'm about to do. Why? First of all N-words is broke and ran by, say it with me now, the Jews. Second of all, I'm just better than everyone by light years. Immeasurably better than everyone ever. N-words don't make that fresh out the box Super Nintendo. N-words shit not exciting unless they copy my whole shit. N-words is boring. N-words all say the same shit. N-words is P-U-S-S-Y and will never get off Spotify. I know it's some F-A-G-G-O-T as N-words thinking when I see that N-word, but you'll never see me. I don't be where broke ass copycat rappers be. Yeah, Kanye
something.
was on one, and then he goes on to say some things, some disparaging things. Let me go back here. I gotta keep it up, y'all.
I'm trying not to laugh over here.
Yeah, back when things aired with the Diddy and Cassie video in the hotel, he said, "Hey, question: if someone was beat up, if someone was to beat up their girl in public, would that be considered domestic violence, or is that outdoor violence, or is it just public indecency? I'm just asking for a friend." He just was to all Jewish husbands, come get your bitch. I just F the shit out of her and don't want to hear her yapping. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I feel alive. I feel the best I've felt since my parents got divorced. I have love for both Milo Yiannopoulos, I think I just said that name wrong, and Nick Fuentes, even though they have had their differences. He said, my Jewish friends all texted me. He is so right about our marriages. It's like lion taming. Do you all think I can turn the tide on all this woke, politically correct shit? People saying that we can or cannot say. We really just animals holding back our instincts. Jews are like B words. You have to keep your B words in check. I would never sell a swastika t-shirt because people could physically be harmed when wearing it. I love my fans and supporters. He was just all over the place. And then now, the thing that most people are talking about is him kind of going at Jay-Z and Beyonce. This is from episode sent on IG. He said, I need everyone to know that I took the post about Jay-Z and Beyonce's family down and Jerry Lorenzo's family down because there was a possibility of my Twitter being canceled, not because I'm a good person. I took it down like Down syndrome. Get it? Am I right? Am I right? F the world. Real talk. F everybody. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce on the other end. F those coon-ass N-words and their entire families. Wait, has anyone ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce's younger kids? They're retarded. Not like literally. And this is why artificial insemination is such a blessing. Having retarded children is a choice.
We're not getting prime time too, because that was a good album.
Kanye, excuse me. Ye is on some Ye. People that like, there's been all kind of mixed comments.
That's some bull.
People are saying, "Oh, he really want the smoke. Nothing about this is funny."
It's not. It's not funny if you're talking about somebody's kids, let alone their wife. Jay-Z, I believe, know people, being the billionaire that he is and the hustler that he is, especially in his songs. My favorite album, American Gangster, I believe it from Jay-Z. So when you come for Beyonce and the kids, I wouldn't be surprised if the news headlines of Kanye got beat up by somebody anonymously in the back alley somewhere.
When somebody put this is what he does. He deflects. He's trying to take the attention away from that Diddy jail phone call and his custody battle. I used to defend his mental state, but no more. This is it. Kids are off limit. Hopefully Jay don't allow him to play him off the street. Someone else said this is so bad. You want to talk about the parents? That's one thing. You don't talk about no one's kids, period. Shame on him. He needs psychiatric help. I said what I said. If all the stuff he's been doing these past few weeks ain't enough for Kim Kardashian to go to the courts and demand full sole custody, I don't know what is. I'm like, if Kanye's argument is he's the better parent or he deserves to have, shared custody with his kids and stuff, he's really not making a case for himself. You really aren't.
Nope.
And so a lot of people have been up in arms, especially about the kids and everything like
that. I would draw the line at the kids, right? Yeah. Beyonce, she's beautiful. She can handle it, I wouldn't be surprised if Beyonce go out and deck Ye out there in the streets too, because I believe Beyonce can fight. But when gloves are off when you talk about the kids.
Yeah. And, at some point when he lost his mom, a lot of people used to have more empathy and sympathy for him, saying, that really broke him mentally because he was so in tune and connected to his mom. But even that, I've seen comments saying, no longer can you keep using that excuse to go out here and just say hurtful and hateful and evil stuff. But because your mom, has passed away, that gives you some kind of leeway to be this type of person.
I know. It makes me not even want to look at Kanye, old Kanye the same. Because I used to rock with old Kanye, the old music. But now I was just like, I don't know, because saying all these things, it just kind of makes it to me, it sounds a little devilish, right? And I can you got the devil in you, like deep in you, and you honor that too. And I that's something I can't really get behind. It's scary to think of that, but Kanye, he's losing his mind out here, and he's saying all these very hurtful things, and I wonder, is this X is still available for him now? I think he should be banned on all social media.
Well, you know what, this takes me back to that time when he was on TMZ, and he said that slavery was a choice.
Oh, I remember that.
Van Latham called him out on it. You remember that he was like, Kanye, I was a huge fan of yours, and you have a responsibility on these platforms because the following. Van called it out way back then, and it just seemed like it's only gotten worse since then.
Yeah, way worse.
It's worse and worse and worse and worse, and I just, at this point, I don't know. And people could easily say, well, Kanye, he's richer than rich. Even if everybody canceled him, he's fine the rest of his life. That money, even if this isolates Kanye to a corner on a deep island somewhere where nobody can find, right? Mm-hmm. That money is not going to maintain your sanity. Nah. That money is not going to really hold you tight when that loneliness creeps in. Like, if money was the root of all things that kept you sane, kept you happy, there wouldn't be so many rich people who commit, suicide.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So
money is powerful but dangerous.
Yeah, there wouldn't be so many wealthy people who turn to drugs because they feel so much hurt and pain. Yeah, that they're just trying to numb it. If money meant that much, that if he got cancer, he rich, he can do all this, he's billion. Okay.
There's loneliness in it. There's lonely in it.
Well, that's all I had. There was a lot in it.
Yeah, it was a lot. That's kind of scary. Kanye, he need to repent because he going, and God forbid, but like he going somewhere else. He going to a different place. He ain't going there. He's going
down a path that I don't think physically or mentally is going to be. It's already not healthy for him. Nah. I think it's only going to get worse if he doesn't get some kind of help soon.
Some kind of help and people to help him get that kind of help. Yeah. But then again, you burn a lot of bridges. You ain't got people to help you get the help you need. So
because even right now, when he's out and about and everything, when you do catch sightings of, he got bodyguards stuff. What happens when nobody wants to protect you? Yeah. Now you can't move freely because people want to physically hurt you. Now you stuck inside somewhere. Yeah. That you can't really interact with society in a way that you want to. But I think for a lot of people, they're like, okay, this is the last straw. Yeah. Like you officially have done too much.
Too much. Too much. Gonna get banned on a lot of stuff.
And I'm like, a lot of parties, a lot of events. And people saying, okay, this is what he's doing to sell his, record that he's about to put out. If this would it take to sell records,
I don't know.
Baby, I ain't want to sell no records.
Yeah, there's a limit.
Speaking of record, dang it, I forgot to bring you a CD. I'm gonna bring it next time.
Yes.
And I looked at it I said, okay, I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna sign a copy and bring it in.
Yeah, sign me a copy.
I looked at it because I have like maybe 4 or 5 still that's on my computer that's upstairs. Hey. And I looked at it and said, okay, I'm gonna remember to take that when I go to film the studio.
Wow. That's all right. Yeah, I've been listening on Spotify though, for real.
Yeah. But in case y'all went to sleep, that is our segment for today. Yes. Hope y'all learned some stuff about what's going on right now in culture, music, and podcasting, and all that good stuff.
Yes. By almost, for everybody out there that's listening to the video version, we thank y'all. Mm-hmm. It's available on YouTube, Spotify video, LinkedIn for me, and then Facebook and Twitch. If you're listening to the audio version, we still love you over there on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. We love you all over there too. That's gonna wrap it up, Evelyn.
Oh yeah, we got someone to follow us on IG.
Oh yeah,
I almost forgot. WHHW Radio 1 on IG, and if you're on Facebook, What Had Happened Was podcast. Make
Yes.
sure you tune in.
Yes, tune in because a lot of people they've been liking our show, so
Yeah.
you might as well go ahead
If you like
be
it,
part
I
of the
love it.
WHHW family. So Evelyn, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure was
You
mine,
know,
darling.
we can't wait to have you back in the studio for another episode. Enjoy your
Yes,
vacation.
I
too.
will.
Yes.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more podcasting this week from K.L.P Entertainment, and stay tuned, y'all. Follow Evelyn Letitia, by the way, 'cause she's Hollywood. You know, she's working.
Not that kind of Hollywood.
I mean, not yet.
You know, you gotta be careful when you say you gotta specify what type of Hollywood.
The good kind of Hollywood.
I ain't in the back room doing rituals and stuff
no,
like they
no,
be
no,
talking
no, no,
about.
no,
No, baby, no.
The good kind of Hollywood and movies and films.
And I'm very humble too.
Yeah.
I'm just confident, never arrogant,
Oh, I love
but
that.
I'm sure
I like that. Confident but never arrogant.
and very sure.
I'm going to use that. So, catch y'all in the next episode. This has been What Happened Was. See y'all next one.
Deuces.
Atlanta, live from KLP Studios. Shish. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories? Say what? Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new KLP.
and
With your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live on Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.